everyone, and welcome back. So in today's video I just wanted to, ooh, it's very squishy in here. I'm sticking to things. Hi everyone, and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be finally finishing off the How to De-Graft Cacti series. But what actually happened is that my process changed partway through when I was editing and uploading and all that sort of thing. I mean, the degrafting stays exactly the same, cutting out the peri, that doesn't change, but the aftercare does. So basically what's changed is, you might know that I've used garden lime as a drying agent for cactus cuttings and de-grafts and things like that. I've used it for several years, but the last growing season, which is just wrapping up now when I'm filming this, the weather, even for Australia, was very, very unstable and just all over the shop. And so what I found was that I wasn't getting those consistent temperatures that I needed in order to stimulate root formation and things like that. So what I did was I actually tried using, first off, I tried using a hormone gel, which is one that you would use for making cuttings of regular garden plants. I didn't find the gel to be great. It did work, but it was, I just got a little bit nervous around adding something wet to a cut cactus. So I switched over to a hormone powder, and I'll put up an image of the one that I use. It is very, very inexpensive, a couple of dollars for a reasonable sized packet, which will last you for ages. I de-graft a lot, so I think I've used 2 packets. Let me show you different stages that you're going to go through, what you're going to be looking out for during the process, and then once you've got some roots forming, as you will probably know from the last installments of the video of the series, I do not pot up cactus cuttings until I see roots. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. I want to see them little roots. Once I know that they've got those, great. We can go forward, all guns are blazing. So, anyways, let's have a look. Okay, so these de-grafts here are now de-grafts are probably around a couple of weeks old, and what we're looking for, so you can see that there's the cavity, and there's still a little bit of a powder around there, but not too much. Nothing's changed on this one just yet, but it's a nice clean cut. There's no goobies or anything in there, so that's fine. We'll leave that one until we can see some roots. This is just what they look like, so you can get an idea of how they should look after a couple of weeks. This one has a very, very deep cavity, which is fine. Still no changes yet, so nothing to indicate that roots are coming, but this is what they should look like, nice and clean. These ones here are a little bit more shallow. Still decent though. It's a little bit of orange, which usually means doom. Orange and brown are not good colours in cactus, but some is not too bad. It's very dry, it's not wet, so a little bit of orange if it's dry isn't a problem. There's another one, just so you can sort of see what they should look like. Another huge cavity, very big. Alright, now I'm going to jump to a different tray, and I'm going to show you the next stage and what we're waiting for. Okay, so these ones are a little bit older, and I don't know if I can capture it, but what you'll notice is there's a sort of it's a whitish sort of yellow tissue in this section here. Now that tissue there, that is the plant preparing to actually make roots. Come here, little guy, come on. Ah, here we go. You see that that nubbin just in there? From here, from that tissue there, that is where the roots will come. So these are nearly ready, not quite. Sometimes little goobies will appear. This one here, horrific. So there's that orange, but all this section here, this was actually very wet tissue. And so what I did was I cut more out, and then I applied some more of the powder. So this is the stage where you're almost ready to pot up. And then from here, we're going to go and have a look at some that are actually ready to pot up, and I'll show you the method that I use. So this one here, I don't know if I'll be able to capture it, but there are just a few little roots. I'm trying to get the right angle. Oop, see there? So they're the little roots there. This is nice and dry, callous. There's a few more roots just there. So that's definitely ready. This one here, you can see that little yellow piece breaking through. That's the roots there. This one here is quite a pretty plant. And this one you can see heaps and heaps of roots. So definitely ready there. And last one, but just trying to show a variety. Here we go. I'll show this Libivia. There we go. So you can see those two roots coming through now. So you don't want to wait too much longer after the roots come through. Otherwise, what will happen is that the tips of the roots will dry off, and you basically just set yourself back. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's go have a look at the potting. So the first thing that I'll do is just fill up the pot. And a little trick when you are potting up de-grafts is fill up the pot quite high. It'll reduce the chances of you overwatering during the rooting process. And make a little hole, not very much, just a little bit. And then what I've got here, this is a mixture of sand, coarse river sand, and coconut husk, the fine stuff. And it's absolutely sopping wet, completely underwater. And then what we'll do is just get a little pinch of this gooey stuff. Put that there. And then give it a little twist. Now don't do that with ones that have got longer roots because you'll break them. This one's roots are just starting to come through, so I'm just trying to make sure that there's good contact, that's all. That's it there. For those that have a cavity, like this one here, big cavity. So we're going to take the wet substrate. And don't get nervous, this works, but you've got to make sure that they're well calloused and roots are forming. So, absolutely sopping wet. I don't squeeze any of the water out. I'm just putting that in there, into the cavity. It's going to poke out a little bit, which is fine. We're just going to make a little depression. Pop it on like that. Give them a little twist. Again, don't do the twist if the roots are longer. This one's roots are inside, so twisting it's not going to hurt it. Like that. Gee, that's a really nice plant. Whew, I do love Gymnocalycium. This one here, the roots, if I twist this into the pot, I'm going to damage the roots, which I don't want to do. So we're not twisting this one, so we want to get the placement right straight away. That's it. Then I hold the plant like this and just tap it on the sides just to help the substrate settle around it. Okay, so these guys here were the last ones that were potted up in the method that we just seen. Now, I never record the date that I de-graft something because the information is pretty much useless. Cactus don't care whether it's been 5 days or 50 days. They'll make roots when they're ready. So the only thing that I do record is the date that they were potted. And the reason that I record that is so that I can keep track of the watering. So these were potted up on the 15th. And it is now, when I'm filming this, the 26th. So it's been 9 days, and I actually watered these yesterday, so a little over a week later. So I don't water when I first pot them up because that substrate's got enough water in there that I count that as one water. So a week later, a week to 10 days, I will give them just a normal water like I would anything else. And then from here, they then will switch over to a more regular schedule, which is going to be fortnightly or every 2 weeks. Some of them will have already formed roots that will actually keep them in the soil. So this one here, I just checked before. I'm not going to pull it out because it will damage it. But this one here, it's a bit hard to see, but there's actually roots coming through now, and they love that nice substrate with the sand and the core peat. I think the coconut husk is available pretty much everywhere, all around the world. So I would definitely recommend using that. If you can't find coarse river sand, which can be a bit troublesome to find sometimes, just use the coconut husk. It'll work exactly the same. The next few months, you'll need to be careful in terms of how much you water and how often. That's pretty much it. You're done. Full cycle, and then you just treat them like regular plants.